Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. So I recently did a clip on my Facebook and Instagram of a removal, and a couple of people commented asking for a full video, so I've only just got around to doing it. So this isn't a complete removal, but this is how I would debulk my nails down ready for a redesign. So I had already done one nail when I decided to do the video. So I come in with my CJP Prep Spray Plus and a nail brush and basically scrub all the nails clean. And I'm then coming in with this extra coarse carbide bit. So before getting into the video, I just want to say I'm not saying that this is the right way or the way you should do it. I'm just saying that this is how I do mine. If you are working on clients with an e-file, you do need to be qualified as you are otherwise invalidating your insurance. So I use this bit on around a speed 27 to 30, which is maximum on my e-file, as this really does whip through the acrylic and remove it super quick. So I just come and do long strokes down the nail, and then I will also go over sideways down the center of that nail and where the apex would be, as this is the thickest part of the nail. So with this bit I remove around 70 to 80%. I don't go all the way down to the thin layer, as I do find that this is quite a heavy duty bit. It is quite new as well, so it's super coarse. I try not to go over the same area consecutively, and always keeping that e-file moving, not keeping it in the same spot, as it will build up heat and burn through the acrylic. So it's just showing you there that there was a slight bump, so I'm doing my best to get the thin layer as even as possible. Then once I'm finished with this bit, so I've removed it down to quite a thin layer but not super thin. If you was just doing an infill with a similar colour, this might be enough, but I always take my nails right back down to the thin layer that I've done, which is usually a clear base, but in this case I just sculpted these nails in nude acrylic. So I then switch over to a extra coarse ceramic bit, and this is a safety bit, so I just feel like I can get closer to the last bit of the acrylic and those side walls with this bit. Again, same motion as before, always keeping the e-file moving and trying to make it as even as possible. So then here, as you can see, it's got right down to a thin layer. So I do want to apologise actually if you can hear any noise in the background. It's the Easter holidays and both my kids are at home. So then once I've done that, I come in with a 100 grit hand file, and I'm just smoothing out this acrylic and working on removing any lifting that may be present. On this particular set of nails, I only had a tiny bit of lifting on the side walls, as maybe the product was touching the skin when I applied it. I was working in a rush when I did the first set of nails, and also I've been quite heavy on this set of nails as I've been super busy. So once I've filed them down with that and I can assess whether there's any lifting, I come in and remove any with my 150 grit file, especially if it's only a little bit like it was here. So just remembering to file above that lift, not on the lift, as otherwise you will chase it down the nail. So I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but all my files, hand files I use, are from Femme Fatale nails, as they are the best quality that I've found, and I use all three of their grits, so the 100 grit, the 150 and the 180. So I clean away any dust so I can assess whether there is any remaining lifting. And then I come in with my 180 grit file just to blend that acrylic into the natural nail ever so slightly. The 180 grit file, if used carefully, is safe on the natural nail. None of the previous hand files or e-file bits I've used in the video should be used on the natural nail, as they are all much too coarse. But if used gently, a 180 grit file is okay. So I just make sure, you know, all the time you're giving your nails a good clean, so you can assess, you know, how you're doing, how thin you've got your base, if you've removed all the lifting, etc. So I did go to start with my cuticle work. However, I then noticed, you know, that previous acrylic just needed blending in slightly more. And there was just a tiny little bit lifting that was being quite stubborn in that corner. So I was just working on getting rid of that. So then once I've done all of that acrylic removal, I then come in to do my cuticle work. So I'm coming in with my cuticle pusher, pushing back all the cuticles, and then using the opposite end just to get any of those bits that are down in the side walls. But I don't worry about doing this too much, as I then come in with a fine cuticle bit on my e-file. So I'm using this on around a speed 5. I use it in the forward motion first of all, and then use it in the reverse motion, as I find that this then really gets down into those side walls around that cuticle area and removes any excess that's on the nail plate. Once I have finished this bit, I really can't talk this morning. I've got the flu. I feel awful, but I thought, you know, I'll just get this voiceover done. So once I've finished working with the cuticle bit, I will then come in with my fine sanding band on around a speed 2, and I literally just tickle this over that nail plate, and this just etches the nail plate ready for your next set of acrylics. So then once I've finished this, I just come in there and just clipped away a little bit of a hangnail that I had. Sometimes I go in with cuticle nippers and do more cuticle work, and you know, it just depends on how I'm feeling and how much time I've got. I would actually love to do a Russian manicure course this year. That little bit in the corner was bugging me. So then I'll slightly file the free edge into shape. I was keeping these the shape that they already were, so I didn't have to do much work there. I then go off camera and finish up the rest of the nails, you know, just repeat all that same process on all of the nails. If I was doing it as a full set, I would usually do all the removal and then all the cuticle work. And then I just give them a wipe over with acetone, and they would now be ready for your primer and your dehydrator. If you have any questions, pop them in the comments box below. If you have enjoyed the video, then please give it a thumbs up, and if you aren't already subscribed, then I would love it if you did. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you all again soon. Bye bye.